What is up? Welcome back to Pull the Pin, baby. It's been 2 weeks. We missed everyone. Baseball season for high schools finally wrapped up, so look for me to be on Twitter and all over the place a lot. Congratulations to Jason Kokrak last week on a big win. He's been a kind of a show favorite here over the last couple of months and hasn't broke through, but he did this past week. Tommy, anything to add before we run the intro and get after it?
Well, let's just get right into the memorial.
I don't think our intro is in here anymore.
Oh,
there we are.
Check it out.
All right, so the Memorial Jacks tournament, the Memorial at Muirfield Village Golf Club in Dublin, Ohio. We're talking 7,300 yards, almost 74, and par 72. Great field this week. I'd say we'll give it an A, just an even A. We're still missing some of the top guys in the field in the world rankings, but majority of the guys are there, and I've got some interesting picks this week. How you feeling, Tommy?
Gotcha. I mean, I've been rolling with, just what guys we've been trending. I feel like a lot of the guys we've been riding this year are really coming into form.
Yes,
and so I think there's a lot of guys that we've thrown out names in the past that I just continue to bet on because they're all starting to kind of come to the top. Yeah,
I've got a couple of those guys that run through the list here for me today. Obviously, the first guy on the list and the odds-on favorite is Jon Rahm. If you're on DraftKings, BetRivers, any of those places, Rahm is the top pick. Last year's winner, he's been inside the top 10 in 5 of his last 7 starts. I mean, you got to throw some money on him. If you don't and he wins, then you're going to feel silly. Just a reminder, it's been 2 weeks since we've been on the air. Our betting model is lots of small bets. You're trying to dig the winner out. And throw in a couple of top 10s, top 5s. So every name that I mentioned today, I will bet on. I will put some sort of financial bet on every name I say.
Probably between, 1 and 5?
1 and 5. Unless I have a real sure thing in my head, I never bet more than $5 on a single guy. And it usually pays out, and we're up pretty big over the last 9-10 weeks.
Yeah, 100%.
So we got Rahm out of the way. Obviously, DeChambeau is a big pick here. A lot of long par 4s. A lot of par 4s between 450 and 500 yards. I've got stats that translate back again this week. Some really good ones. He shows up on there a couple of times. But, any place that you play that's going to have long par 4s, DeChambeau's a guy you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the one thing with long courses that people automatically go to is okay, well, who hits it furthest off the tee? But you definitely got to look at approach, especially strokes gained approach. With mid to long irons, you can break down strokes gained approach to between 150, 175, 175 to 200. Those are the kind of guys that really pique your interest because if you're giving yourself legitimate birdie opportunities from 175 plus yards in, that's going to separate you from the rest of the field.
I won't jump to stats that translate yet, but just the stats that I took numbers from in the last 24 rounds: strokes gained on approach, strokes gained ball striking, par 4s between 450 and 500, strokes gained putting, and strokes gained on Mickelson design. Yeah, so that's what we'll be looking at in stats that translate a little later on here.
And if I recall, the rough isn't over penalizing here. So I don't know if necessarily long and straight is a necessity. I think it's more about
length than it is long.
Yeah.
I think you're right there. The next guy I've got on my list is, he's on my list every week, and I'm sure tired of him not winning. But Cam Smith, he's back on my list. Golfstats.com has him second in fantasy stats from Muirfield. That can't be ignored. Top 10 guy for sure, worth a couple of bucks for a win. The next guy these are my 2 golfstats.com guys. If you're looking for golf stats to use for betting guys, it's a paid for page, but golfstats.com, it's $19 a month. And I utilize it. I'm up way more than $19 a month since I started using
Right.
it. So,
Yeah.
Cameron Tringali is another guy in the top 5 on golfstats.com.
Trending really, really well.
And he's been playing great golf. I like him a lot this week. I'm going to have money on him to win.
Yeah.
Top 5 and top 10.
And his odds are probably still pretty good. I know 3 weeks ago I had him winner top 5, top 10, and I think he didn't win, but he got top 5, and that paid out like for that $10 worth of bet. He paid out like over $200 or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Any names that pop out to you here before I just keep rattling off? My list?
Just the first one, someone that's high odds and also has been trending is Wyndham Clark.
I love it. Yeah.
I mean, he's just been playing really well. I don't know where he falls in with the stats that translate, but he's been someone that's been playing really well. But another guy that if he can crack the top 10, $5 might make you $105 or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. He's a good pick. He's been playing good golf. I like the Wyndham Clark pick. Next guy on my list is a guy neither of us really like all that much, but I think he's going to play well this week. That's Matt Fitzpatrick. He fired a 68 in the final round last year to grab solo third. He has 4 top 10s in his 14 tourneys on this side of the Atlantic. He's also won twice across the Atlantic this year. Just playing really good golf. He's a good long iron player. The course fits him pretty well. He's a little shorter off the tee than I'd like, but he might break through this week.
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
Go for it.
All right. I just wrote JT to play well this week. He's just been a roller coaster, but I like JT this week. I think he plays pretty well. Patrick Reed is another guy that I think plays well here. Both those guys are worth the bet. We don't really need to go into why they're worth the bet. They're JT and they're Patrick Reed. I'm wasting your time by telling you that they're really good. So we'll just go with that.
I mean, Hideki's a guy that could play well this week. A relatively good long iron player. Yeah.
Sure. I like Hideki a lot this week.
Yeah.
Next guy on my list is Jason Day. From the ashes of 2018. Rise, Jason Day. Rise!
Yeah.
He played well last year in the
Memorial. That's his home area.
Yep. He has 2 top 10s this year and ranks in the top 20 in shots gained and strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained around the green. He's starting to look like Jason Day again. Injuries have just destroyed the guy over the last 3 years. And it's a shame because I think the game's better when he's good. He can be a really talented player when he's healthy.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, our guy Joakim Niemann's in it again.
Joaquin! The year of Neiman. My next pick is kind of funny. You're going to laugh.
Okay, go for it.
Bo
Hoag.
The Ohio native is a $1 to win pick or a make the cut pick, whichever one you feel better about.
Yeah.
If you bet $1 for him to win, you're going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just one of those guys you throw $1 on just in case of a miracle story, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to bet $100 this week, why not $1 on Bo Hoag, who's from Columbus, Ohio, who's good friends with Jack Nicklaus, who plays well on Nicklaus Designs, and kind of sucks sometimes. But it's worth the $1 bet in my opinion.
Bet you beat us.
He can go play in my match play in a couple hours. For me.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Bo Hoag. I'm going to put money on him to be in the top 20, top 10, top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think the odds are right for it. I think it's a good play.
Absolutely.
Next on my list is Patrick Cantlay. He's boring. He's good. He could win. He loves Muirfield. 2.8 strokes a game when he plays there. Patrick Cantlay. You got to put money on him or you're not betting correct.
That guy who's been trending that you were high on earlier this year lost you a lot of money. Currently won me some money. Doc Redman.
Yeah.
Doc Redman. But he's starting to play well.
He has been playing well.
He's starting to play well. Yeah. Got another guy who's like, he just cracks that top 5 for you. And
cracks the top 5, even the top 10.
Yeah.
He's going to make you some money.
Mm-hmm.
I have Matt Kuchar here as kind of a nice little money pick. Leads the field with 7 top 10s at Muirfield. He's also played there more than most people.
Mm-hmm.
He won it in 2013, tied for 32nd last year. He's a good long shot this week. I mean, nobody's picking him to win. His odds aren't great.
Right.
But he performs there. So, like, he's a guy that if you want to make some money on the top 10, there you go. It's possible.
Mm-hmm. There you go. What else you got?
Adam Scott, 4 career top 10s there, tied for second in 19, didn't play in 20. He's had a really consistent 2021. Like, if you look at the stats for him this year, he's always in the hunt. He's always in the top 10, top 5. Not top 5, but always in the top 10, top 20, it seems. And sooner or later, a guy like him, he's going to break through. It's all about that putter. If he putts it, he could be really dangerous.
Yep.
Hovland's next on the list. I mean, he's been as good as you can be without winning the last 8 to 9 weeks. He has won this year.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I think he's third in the FedEx or something like that. You know, he's up there. I mean, another guy who's been quietly good that's made me some money recently is Aaron Wise.
Yeah, Aaron Wise has been really good.
And he's a scrappy guy that could get around this golf course. You know, you know, I think he's had, you know, at least 2 top 20s and a top 5 recently. You know, so again, and his odds are for the quality of player that he is. Like, you could, if he wins, like probably 5 to win like 800 or something. You know, so it's like, definitely worth
exactly
it.
Right.
Definitely worth it.
That's unfortunate. All right. So before I have 3 names, I call them my darts at the wall that I like this week a lot. Matt Wallace, I think, plays well this week. Mackenzie Hughes, who just apparently loves Nicklaus courses, is going to play well this week. I love him in the top 10. And the odds for him being in the top 10 are going to be pretty good. So I love Mackenzie Hughes. And Brendan Todd, who's just played really good golf all year long, I think has a good year this week. Along the same lines as JT and Patrick Reed, if you are not picking Jordan Spieth every week to win a golf tournament right now, you don't. I mean, if you're following our betting model and you don't put money on Jordan Spieth to win golf tournaments right now and be in the top 5, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't be betting golf.
I mean, the problem with him is like that's the kind of bet that you make to like try to like get back to close to breaking even because you know like
that's what all the top guys are.
Because he probably is gonna have a good chance to win or at least be top 5. You're not gonna make a crap ton of money on it. Right. If he wins, you might win $90, five to win 90. You know, like it's not gonna be a huge. Right. But if you bet 100 and you bet Jordan Spieth to win for 5 of it, and he does, and then you get a top 5 and top 10, and you're still coming out positive, which is all what it's all about, you know. So definitely worth the pick, you know. I think another guy, I mean, not a super straight driver of the ball, but he finds a way to get up and down a lot, and he's right now the way he's playing, and he's playing traditional Jordan Spieth golf. He's just finding a way to get it done. It's not often not pretty, but it gets the job done. So
sorry for jumping off there real quick.
You're good.
I'm technically on the clock. Right?
There you go. You hooligan.
So I'm at my point where I'm at stats that translate. Do you have any names you want to throw out there before I run into the stats that translate?
I've been throwing them out along. I mean, I always just throw Cameron Champ out as every time you go into a longer course, just because, again, he's a guy you've heard of, but you could throw $1 on, and if he happens to win, you might make $500. Like, you know, like just because he's messed around. If he gets going with that putter, I mean, he hasn't played particularly well in individual events this year, but he played really well at the better ball, you know, and so he's had some kind of form lately, and his odds are ridiculous every week.
Yes, they are.
So just one of these weeks, he's just going to mess around and get a top 10 and make you like one to win 150 or something, you know, like.
So before I go into stats that translate, my pick to win this week, my overall pick to win this week is Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
And it was my pick before I looked at the stats that translate. And after I looked at the stats that translate, I was like, yeah, he is my pick to win this week. So shots or strokes gained approach.
Oh, I'm going to throw my pick at this week, all right?
Absolutely.
Played particularly well at the PGA. No one acknowledged it for no apparent reason. Ricky Fowler.
I'm sorry, Ricky. I can't acknowledge you.
Even top 5 at the PGA. No one talked about it because
why would they?
Because that's a top 5 at the PGA. That does a lot to get him back in good graces with the world golf rankings. You know.
So now he's inside the top 100 again.
No, top 50. He's best outside the top 50 going into it, so he's probably back inside the top 50.
No, I want Rory, or I want Ricky to play well.
And if he can get the ball around there, he can get the ball around here at Muirfield.
Sure.
And
yeah, absolutely.
He's clearly doing something right, so I think this is his week. I think he gets back in this form.
I'm just busting your chops. I hope so.
I think this is his week.
I like Ricky a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Golf is better when Ricky Fowler is good.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Well, then golf's going to be really good next week.
What's that?
Golf's going to be really good next week then.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, so strokes gained approach last 24 rounds. Morikawa, Charlie Hoffman, Emilio Grillo, Stuart Sink, Jordan Spieth. Strokes gained ball striking, Morikawa, Connors, Hoffman, Hovland, Spieth.
I'm going to change my pick.
Par 4 is 450 to 500 yards. Morikawa, Ustays, and Matt Wallace, DeChambeau, Lowry. Strokes gained putting, C. Woo! Kim. Leishman, Jason Day, DeChambeau, and Todd. So Morikawa.
DeChambeau gets no credit for being a great putter.
Who doesn't?
DeChambeau.
No, he doesn't.
It's no credit.
And then I did look up shots gained, strokes gained, Nicholas Design, and it goes Cantlay, JT, Finau, Rahm, Morikawa.
Morikawa's just on 4 of the 5.
Yeah, Morikawa is just raking it in here. I love him to win. I like Finau to play well this week. I didn't really write anything about him, but I mean, I'm sure I'll probably drop some money. But once again, he gotta suck.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Because he's just a guy that everybody is expecting sooner or later to just tear it apart and win.
Yeah.
So he gets the same odds as a guy like Justin Thomas, who might actually win.
Right. Yeah.
Is he worth the bet? Isn't he worth the bet? I don't know. I probably will throw some money on.
Depends on where you're putting money down, I guess. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Depends how much I have left after I've bet everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
But that is my preview and picks of the Memorial.
Yeah, and we had a really awesome moment in golf. I don't know if you saw.
Yep, I was going to bring up a little.
Yeah, with Justin Thomas yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't even know the guy's name. I know the story. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so I don't remember the guy's name. It's terrible. I should have written it down because I wanted to talk about this and Phil a little bit too.
Yeah.
But Justin Thomas, there's a gentleman who made Monday qualified for the PGA.
It wasn't the PGA. It was his first PGA Tour event.
Which one was it? It was the one right before the PGA.
It was like 2 or 3 weeks before the PGA.
Okay. Anyway, qualified on a Monday and a Monday qualifier. And this week, Justin Thomas cut him a check to help pay for him to continue to follow his dream, which is just awesome. Playing mini tour golf is not a cheap thing to do. Not that I would know, but I mean, you're traveling all the time. Just this guy's story. He still lives with his parents.
Yeah.
They help support him financially to follow his dream.
Yeah, he's been doing it for like 7+ years, just trying to crack into the PGA, and he's playing this week, I believe.
Yes,
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how he got that invite, but he ended up playing a practice round with Justin Thomas on Tuesday. They're supposed to be playing today.
Yeah.
Because he sent a message over the weekend. It's like, hey, you trying to play a practice round Tuesday? And he's like, heck yeah. And so then I guess they met up yesterday, their first day at Memorial, and he's like, hey, here's a check to keep it going, which is wild. I mean,
obviously, Justin, how much that check was for.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Just the fact that a legitimate superstar of the PGA is thinking about a guy that is in that situation and trying to make his life better is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not like $1 million check, maybe a 30, 50,000, something like that, just to keep him like being able to pay for hotels and travel and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, Justin doesn't have to, obviously has no obligation to do that, but for him to just be like, hey man, like, I don't know if Justin's ever been there because he was pretty dang good at the game. Well, but at some point, he put in the work to get where he's at now. Yeah. And this guy maybe isn't on the same timeline, but has aspirations, I'm sure, to be Justin Thomas, So
exactly.
It's pretty cool,
The other big story in golf that we missed while we were out was Phil Mickelson at 50 years old winning the PGA.
Yeah.
Oldest ever major winner. Of my own heart as a lefty, and just thought it was awesome to watch him come down the stretch. It's awesome to see that there's still 4 great rounds of golf in every pro.
Yeah.
And I don't think that'll be the last time Phil Mickelson ever wins on tour, which is even crazier because the thing that I just took from that was he's still physically does everything that everybody else does.
Yeah.
At 50 years old. That's insane.
Yeah, if you put his numbers, I'm sure,
last
especially
par
driver
five-
numbers up against him, like
The last par 5,
Yeah.
he hit the longest drive of the week at 366 yards.
Yeah.
The 50-year-old guy in the field
Yeah.
hit the longest drive of the week.
well, he does a great job, taking care of himself.
Absolutely.
Extremely flexible. Like, he's also one of those like guys that has always had crazy club head speed just naturally. Like, it's not something he had to work for, So it's awesome to see him going. But yeah, if you put him up on his numbers, I bet you threw the bag against anyone else on TrackMan, it's probably the same. Or very similar.
So, little closing up shop. We got to run our BetRivers promo. But I want to thank Pull the Pin, Lancaster, the store, for hosting as usual. I want to thank the Painted Lions for always letting us use their YouTube channel. We're back. We'll be on more often. I'm hoping to do 2 podcasts a week at this point. Probably going to do one on like Fridays going into the weekend to talk about what's going on there. You can still bet on golf on Friday night to bet what the weekend's going to do. The odds obviously aren't what they are now, but we're also just going to be covering the PGA a little more tightly now that high school baseball's wrapped up. And just personally, in case anybody that I have coached or been around, I've stepped down as Lancaster Catholic High School baseball coach. I've been doing it for 11 years. And it's bittersweet for me, but it's going to allow me to, pursue some other things that I've really cared about, this being one of them. So we're excited about that. Follow me at PTP 2021 on Twitter or at TieBook3.
Pull the Pin Lank on Instagram. Just Pull the Pin Lank on Facebook as well. You can find us there. We're extremely active on social media. To keep up to date with any sales we're running. Just with this year being such a weird year with product, as things come in, we'll be posting about it. Right now we're pretty heavy on drivers and fairway woods. So if you're looking to get one and not have to order it, there's a pretty high possibility we got one for you here. So
awesome. All right, let's run the promo.
Hey, what's up, guys? MLB baseball is in full swing. The NBA and NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and the NFL season is mere moments away. While we here at the Painted Lions are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports, we are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
All right. Closing up shop. Have a great week, everybody. I'm off to play in the Lanco match play round 2 today. A little early because of some vacation schedules.
Yeah.
I got out of round 1, man. That was the goal.
that was the goal. So
All right.
mess around and see what happens.
Right. All right.
And then, hey, fun fact: if Ty wins his match, and I win mine, I'm also playing in a few weeks. So we haven't set up a time yet. Ty and I would be playing each other in the 3rd round of Blanco match play. It's it's a few ifs there, but it's a possibility. So I mean, if that happens, I'm sure we'll be having to cover that on the podcast.
If that happens, we'll be covering that on the podcast, and there'll be a camera.
Yeah.
At the round. So, all right. For Tommy, I'm Ty. We'll see you guys next week, or possibly Friday this week.
There we go.